Hello, everyone. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Instagram. How is everyone? Today on Tuesdays with Tina, we're going to be discussing the AMSA injection, and why we would use it, and what's the point of it. A little bit of information about that. So that's our topic. AMSA. Now, last week I wasn't with you guys because I saw patients all day Tuesday, and then as soon as I was done, I was off to an event at the local Boys and Girls Club that has a dental clinic there, a little fundraiser event for them, and it was a really fun opportunity to work with that particular group. So again, Facebook up here, hello, Instagram over there, and as always, this is recorded, so you can also go back to Teacher Tina RDH on YouTube and see any of the past episodes there. All right, so let's jump in. The AMSA, what do we use it for? All of that information. And I'm just going to move my Instagram people. You're going to be moving over here just to make it a little easier. Hopefully you guys can see. Sorry, you're going to have ugly ceiling in your view. The AMSA, now here's the thing that I find so interesting with this injection, and you guys, the more that I do this thing of anesthesia and the more I talk with people about it, the more I realize that, this is something that a lot of hygienists are learning, but dentists still aren't learning this injection, which I think is kind of interesting. So it is a palatal injection. That's one of the things to be aware of, but it does a lot. It really does a lot because it's going to get your premolars to the midline, all of the palate and the soft tissue of the premolars to midline without getting the lip, which is wonderful. Now, if you're curious on how to do this injection technique, I have that available to you on my on-demand courses. It's the whole Hit Me With Your Best Shot course series. And it was actually kind of interesting. I was just on a coaching call with one of my students that was enrolled in one of my courses, and we were talking about a different injection, and I was just like, it's so cool to be able to have that opportunity when people are some of the students that are enrolled in that, when they have deeper questions, that I get to have these kinds of conversations with them, deep dive, really talking about what is their specific issue. And for this particular one, we only talked about infiltration, but it's amazing how many people I've talked with about this particular injection, the AMSA. Now, it's kind of a newest kid on the block when it comes to injections. It is a palatal approach. I will say the thing that really makes it tolerable for our patients is to apply pressure anesthesia when we're doing this injection. So because it is a palatal approach, now for my Facebook friends, sorry, our lighting makes this a little blurry. So Instagram fam, you get a better view of this just because of the way the camera and lighting works. It's interesting. So when we're doing this, I want to say use pressure anesthesia right at the junction between the two premolars. If you apply really strong pressure there with a cotton swab, you will have a great experience for your patient. I mean, no, your patient's not going to love it. They're going to be like, it's still an injection. I haven't met anybody who was like, woo, yes, an injection at the roof of my mouth. No, nobody's going to say that, but they're going to say, wow, that wasn't so bad. It really wasn't so bad, because when we use that pressure anesthesia and press really firmly with a cotton swab and allow that pressure to sit on there for, I would give yourself a good 30 seconds and keep that pressure on there when you're getting ready to insert. We start to employ a different period of pain control where, where it's like that pressure pain point where you sleep on your hand and it goes to sleep, and then you can't really feel things. It's the same thing when we're applying pressure onto the roof of the mouth. That's nice firm tissue. You use your cotton swab, applying that pressure for a good 30 seconds, and then you can go ahead and do your injection. I would say that for all of your palatal injections, actually. Just go ahead and do that for all your palatal injections. Applying that pressure there makes it a lot more comfortable for your patients. The other thing with the AMSA injection that we have to be aware of is the bevel orientation of our needle. Now, several needles will have this demarcation where you'll see either like a little dot or some sort of like gray arrow, something along those lines where you'll get to see your bevel orientation. Now, if you are doing a palatal injection, that's one of the ones I would say is the most important to have the bevel orientation set up. Because if if your bevel orientation is different for other injections, it's not that big of a deal, but for your palatal injections, it really helps with the anesthetic flowing up to the appropriate area. When your bevel is pointed up towards the bone, when it's pointed up towards the maxilla instead of down towards the tongue into the soft tissue, the anesthetic cannot flow as easily. So just a thing that you can do to make that injection a little easier for yourself is to orient it so that that bevel opening, when the solution flows, it's flowing up towards the palate. That will make the insertion easier and your deposition rate a lot easier, because it's going to take a lot of thumb pressure to apply that anesthetic, okay? So applying strong pressure prior to your injection. Bevel orientation, another hint of great success with that one as well. So recap, AMSA, premolars to midline, all of the hard palate, facial structures of premolar to midline does not impact the lip. Just like with any of our other injections, you still can have crossover innervation at the midline. I actually had a great conversation with one of my dental hygiene students just yesterday about the possibility of doing bilateral AMSA injections, so that way you don't have to worry about that crossover innervation and continue with your instrumentation all along through the anterior. I say give it a try. That's why not? You know, if you can do that and make it comfortable for your patient all the way around, it's wonderful. Other thing I want to reiterate with any palatal injections is that with your use of vasoconstrictors, please be aware of that. I would steer clear of the 1 to 50K epinephrine, simply because vasoconstriction is very easy to achieve on our palatal injections. So 1 to 100 or 1 to 200 vasoconstrictor. The other thing is that when you're doing it, you know, we go until we see blanching, right? Now, you can have that whitish appearance where it starts to look pale pink, but if that tissue starts to look stark white, please know you've given enough anesthetic, that that patient has received enough, and or you need to go ahead and withdraw and insert into a different area of the mouth to allow that anesthetic to continue flowing. And the nice thing is if you do need to follow up, say with like an NP, maybe you didn't get enough profound anesthesia on the anterior region, you can always, after your AMSA, you can follow up with that nasopalatine injection as well, okay? All right, just a little bit of a review of the AMSA, what it is, some tricks on making it a little easier for you and for your patient as well. And I want to say just a moment, as I was getting my syringe out and I had my little safety, I want to say safety tweezers, but my little safety items here. Please have cotton forceps or locking hemostats with you when you're doing your injections. Now, I prefer the locking style, like these are the locking forceps. I prefer a locking forceps style, so that way if something were to happen, I can close and lock it and be able to grab, like if a needle broke, knock on wood, well, I want to be able to grab that out of the patient's mouth without it slipping off, okay? These also work really great for uncapping and recapping. Like if you don't have a recapping device, you can use these to help hold that cap steady with keeping your fingers away from the sharp pokey end. Right, we don't want to poke ourselves. Most needle sticks happen during the recapping process and dismantling of the syringe. So let's just keep that from happening and keep some safety items on hand. All right, friends, that is today's Tuesdays with Tina. Again, I'm sorry I missed you guys last week. I was, like I said, I was at a Boys and Girls Club fundraiser event for a dental clinic in celebration of all their health clinics and everything that they've achieved. So the last 2 weeks have been a whirlwind. I was in Georgia the 12th and 13th, or 13th and 14th, 12th and 13th, I don't remember. Mid-April, certifying hygienist there, then back here in Oregon, certifying hygienist here, and then I'll be back in Georgia in May, friends. So if any of my Georgia people are here, I'll be back in Georgia in May and doing 2 certification courses and 1 refresher course. So if you're already certified and you live in that area and are curious about a refresher course, or if you need to get more of your clinical hours in so you can finish your certification, hit me up, let me know, and I'll give you that information. But yeah, it's in Georgia on Saturday, May 18th. We'll do a refresher course. And then I will be doing another one here in Oregon in August. I'm just waiting to hear back from the facility that I used to find out what date is available. So, and that just leads to my quote, which is, education is not something you can ever finish, right? Education is not something you can ever finish. And it's so true. We can never finish it. And we're always learning. We're always growing. And I think that's what keeps us having a zest for life, helps us keep feeling good about it. And I'm excited to be able to continue traveling around the nation, speaking at different conferences. I will be going up to Canada in just a couple of weeks, speaking at a conference in Canada and sharing insights with them. So it's a lot of fun. And I encourage you to pursue your education, whatever it may be. Oh, someone says, come to California. I want to come to California. I would love to come to California. I know I've done a couple of CE events for some individuals in California at some different hygiene association and study clubs, and I think I'll be doing a virtual one in November. But a hands-on one, I would love to. So if you're from California and you know a way that we can connect together and do a hands-on course, a refresher, love it. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. Okay? All right, friends. So that's it for Tuesdays with Tina. Go continue learning and be amazing. And thank you for all the support and sharing this with your friends and your colleagues and anyone else that is wanting some support with local anesthesia and other things. I know I talk a lot about local anesthesia, but I do other things like medical emergencies and head and neck anatomy, right? It's Oral Cancer Awareness Week or month. And I have all that stuff too and more. Okay. I'm going to stop rambling. You guys have a great Tuesday. I'll see you next week. Bye.